What is going on, everybody? I took a little bit of a break. I think I'm back for a while. These new unique reworks look fun, and I think it might make one of my older builds that I really enjoyed playing playable again. This is the Poisonus Duo from back in 3.14, and the Poison Gem was removed in 3.15, and there was no way to get the Dervish back to 100% poison, so the build died. Now we have a chance for minions to poison on jewels, which we have a bunch of, so it should not be an issue. I don't know what the range is on those yet, but it shouldn't be an issue to hit 100%. We can get 40 from the chance to poison, and hopefully the rest on jewels. So providing we can get to 100%, this build will at least be makeable. It's not a league starter. It's not an OP build. It might not be a cheap build. We don't know how rare uniques are going to be now. So this is not what I'm league starting with. This is just a build I'm excited to play. It's probably my second build of the league. Once I can get the required uniques, because it's really unique heavy. So with that out of the way, for those of you that did play this build or enjoyed it, I think we might even get a buffed version. Since we're getting the buff to poison, or to damage over time at least, to minions. So in theory we should have quite a bit more damage, because we kind of didn't get a nerf on the base minion damage nerf. This one was spared since its damage actually comes from the sword itself. So when you equip this sword and then start Rampage, it unequips and flies off into the map as two spinning cyclones, and the sword's base stats are what is used for the minion's base stats. So if you increase this damage, you'll increase the base damage of your minion. Same with the crit chance and everything else. So with that said, we used Audrey's skin to apply a bunch of curses that we have amped up a little bit, to debuff the enemies and then to amplify our poison damage. And before the damage over time minion buff back in 3.14, the build did like pretty good damage, a little over 1 million DPS. It wasn't like anything crazy, but it was enough to play. And you just ran around, cursed everything till it like barely moved, and then it exploded. So it was pretty fun. And what we do with this item is we socket 5 of our curses in it. If you get a 6-link one, you can put increased area of effect on there. And then this comes with a little bit of less curse effect, but we kind of counter that by wearing 2 replica Dodre's damning rings. Now the catch here is you can apply 1 fewer curse. You get 1 from the base game. This is an occultist, so we get +1 from the occultist. So we cancel out the 2 we lose from here, and then Dodre's skin allows us to do 5 additional, so we get back up to 5. And then if you want to get these max rolled at 25, you apply the whatever catalyst it is. I can't ever remember their names. The one that affects curses, and it'll bump that up to 40. Where 2 of those, that gives us 80% right there. And then we grab some more on the tree, and we end up with like over 2 times multiplier on all of our curses. And then to further buff the Dervish, we wear Ancient Skull. This is a pretty neat item. Now, this is going off of 3.14, my memory of playing the build last time. This minions, Hear the Whispers, take 20% of life as chaos damage. Never even showed up on their health bar. I don't know if that still holds true. I guess we'll find out. I might have to stack some minion chaos res if that's the case, to slow that down or get some leech on them. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but what it also gives is 50 increased attack speed and damage, which not only allows the poison to be increased, but also stack far faster. Does reduce their life. Again, this didn't matter previously. We'll see now. The increased movement speed is really nice. I usually try to get a really good roll on that, because these things are pretty slow. So we want to get increased movement speed everywhere we can. So you're going to want to get a good roll on that. Now here's another interesting line. So minions have 50 increased critical strike chance per maximum power charge you have. So you pay attention there, maximum means that we don't have to have the power charges or even generate any. They just have to be maximum. And for each one of those, these guys will get 50 increased crit chance, which helps a little bit with the nerf that we got to power charges and stuff for minions. I'm anxious to see what the crit values are that we can craft and see if we can actually push crit. I did take some crit nodes on the tree here, or actually I think I spec'd out of them because it made like no difference in the damage. Just because I don't know what we can craft on gear yet. If we can get the crit chance up pretty decent, because right now it's let's see here, 17.5%. And if we take these guys, don't mind the skill points up there, it goes up 22.75. So have to see what we can wait and see what we can do on the gear. If we can push that up high enough, might rework this a little bit. As far as the rest of the gear, we do need quite a bit of uniques, but there's still some slots in there. We can do some crafting. The writhing jars are required to keep the dervish up between like phased bosses or long distances between packs. Kind of standard of these type of builds. You want to get good rolls on those too with the reduced charges used, just so you can spam them. With everything set up the way it is, we'll go over cluster jewels in a minute. You can do this from the hideout and keep rampage indefinitely once you get it going. The only other nice uniques, we got quickening cover for some more attack speed, and then Ananamu's Gaze for a +6 to damage over time multiplier per ghastly jewel, up to a max of 30. I think we have like 8 in this build or something. Quite a few of them. And these are where we're going to want to pick up some. You want to get a little bit of accuracy on some of them, and then movement speed. This is a great jewel right here. Is one I found, or this one I made. But that's a perfect jewel. A little bit of life, some movement speed, and some accuracy is really nice. They're also buffing the values of flat added damage. That might end up being awesome, stacking a bunch of fizz damage. But any of the minions or minion flat fizz, damage over time, any of those are helpful to the build. Doesn't have to be those specific ones. Move speed's just for faster clear. Like I said, the rest of them are just rares, life and res. Make sure you get your stats. I still got some stats to figure out. But it wasn't a problem last time, so I'm sure it won't be a problem this time. And then it's a decently tanky build. It's like I said, all the curses are super buffed. If you go in here and look, here they are. So we're looking at like a despair here. We have a curse effect of ×2, so that applies double to what it normally would. And then the other ones are just below that. I think like 1.76, 1.8. I don't know what way it rounds. And you can see all the bonuses we're getting there to pump it back up. And if there's any new ways that I haven't found yet, because I haven't played a super big amount of time the last couple leagues, then we might be able to get that a little further. Leave something in the comments if you guys know a piece of gear or something I'm missing that has been added in the last 2 leagues, because I haven't put in as much time as normal. But that's pretty much it. I'm anxious to get going and I still don't know what I'm going to start with, but providing that I find a decent starter and can get some currency together, I definitely want to put this together. Oh, let's go over the cluster jewels real quick. So we got Melder's Wellspring. This is nice for bleeding, but more importantly, we get some flask regen. Same thing here, Alchemist Genius and flask regen. You also want to use the whatever soul gives you the flask regen. So anyways, here's the cluster for this one. This was a really good jewel. When I put this build together last time, I had a bunch of currency laying around, so I made some fun stuff. But you don't need anything like this to start. Just any large cluster jewel with some minion stuff on it. Same thing here. This really probably not that helpful. Blessed Rebirth, since they're not often created recently. The increased max life might end up being more beneficial now if they have less life. I'm not sure. This one's nice for the movement speed. Dread March is important. These are just more life. I took this build pretty high level. Misery Everlasting for some extra curse effect that helps our damage. I don't know, the life went down there. The only thing you want to make sure whenever you socket these guys, Quickening Covenant, there's another one too, Fortress Covenant, you can pick up and put somewhere. But you don't want to put them where there's any notables that you're using within range, or it will reduce their movement speed. So you can either put them in here where they don't touch anything. This is far enough away; it also works. But other than that, it's just basically life. You want to grab this Blast Mastery, these Flask nodes here. Helps keep your Writhing Flask. We anoint Ravenous Horde for the move speed, and Onslaught, which is more move speed. Just try to pick these things up and make them as quick as possible. And down here we get some accuracy rating and also some double damage, but accuracy rating is kind of important. You need to make sure you're hitting 100% here, and then 100% chance to poison is important. Right now I am cheating, just so you guys know. I got 6% chance to poison down here. That should be able to be made up with jewels. I'm assuming if GGG put jewels in to increase the chance to try to kind of force a damage over time meta for minions, then they should hopefully have a high enough value that it isn't hard to get back to 100%, or kind of defeats the purpose. The 108 poisons is what this thing says that they can do. I think 51, 104 poisons. Do 102. Where there's no problem to keep up, we got them on totems. They're blinded. I think that's all the boxes I got ticked. That's for flash charges. Rampage 1000 is no problem. These things hit like so fast. 13.38 attacks per second times 2. So you're getting, what is that, like 26 stacks of Rampage per second on bosses, so it scales up pretty quick. And then you can keep it up to 1,000 with just popping your flask. Keeping the timer going. I know I did Cyrus a few times in Ritual League whenever I made this build, and I never lost the swords in between phases or anything like that, so it should be fine. Anyways, if you guys got any cool League starters, throw it in the comments. I really have no idea what I'm going to League start yet. I'm hopefully not waiting until Q to figure it out, but I'll figure something out, and then we'll probably roll this as the second build. See you guys.